doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
We are live, the People's Weekly. What's up, Glenn?
Buenos dias.
So yeah, it's been a crazy week. Little did we know last week things would get even crazier this week.
Well, I think we could have maybe said, yeah, that's likely, but we certainly couldn't have picked these specific cards out of the fucking deck, I'll tell you that.
Nah. I hope I'm not peeking. The thing about it was, we predicted all this a long time ago on this show. We predicted these right-wing terrorists were going to start acting up more and more and more and more the closer it gets to these elections. And we don't know about after. I don't know what's going to happen if he loses. They might just go ape shit and start bombing as much as they can and shooting stuff up. I don't know. But as we saw this week as well, we have people that are willing to fight back and defend the people. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, at least part of it, domestic terrorism and protecting the people against domestic terrorism, right?
Well, the thing that, again, being outside the U.S., maybe it's just a little easier for me to connect the dots, but I mean, plus I'm not exactly a kid anymore, but I mean, I can remember back when U.S. Network used to cover the civil unrest in Central America, and you see shit from places like Nicaragua and Guatemala, El Salvador, and it was all this kind of shit. It was militant fascists, all in street clothes, in the streets, shooting, looting, burning shit, cops nowhere to be seen. So now I see this stuff going on in American cities, and provoked again from a very, a subset of the public. It's by no means some sort of popular revolution at this point. Nobody can realistically say that, but it looks just like the bullshit that the agency was paying for in the 80s in Central America. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's Kenosha. I guess that's where we're gonna start, right?
Yeah.
This little bastard terrorist was 17 years old, had a gun he wasn't supposed to have, crossed the border to protect himself. I mean, that's ridiculous. How do you cross a border and go somewhere else to protect yourself? Then he goes over there, shoots somebody in the head, gets in a scuffle with people trying to get the gun from him, shoots another two people in that. Then with his finger on the trigger, walks past the police throwing up some kind of cop code signs to him, and gets in his car and goes back to Illinois. That's insane. And I think he's out right now.
Well, the other thing that strikes me is, at the one point, it appears to me that he thought probably surrendering to the cops was better than dealing with he didn't know what was behind him anymore. I think by that time he was convinced that people saw him kill people. So,
But he didn't surrender. He walked right past him and went home. They didn't get him till the next day.
The cops didn't want anything to do with him. The cops it didn't even cross their mind that this white kid with an assault rifle could be guilty of anything. It just simply didn't register. He stood there. He tried to talk to them. They're just like, fuck off, kid. Go that way. We're going in. You know? That's what blew my mind. So here is an actual, I'll say it because I'm not an American, I can't be sued. Here's an actual murderer approaching the police, and because of his appearance and where they are, he simply could not be guilty of anything. Carry on. Get out of here.
Imagine if it was a black dude coming out with his finger on the trigger, throwing some kind of cop signs that says gang signs immediately, and
he'd already be dead. Yeah.
Yeah, walking toward the police or past the police with a rifle after shots have been fired and people are laid out in the street, some dead. Yeah, just walk by. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's insane. That would never happen in a million years. Not in this country.
Nope.
It's
the thing that blows me away.
Yeah, and for those of you wondering, we're going to get into the L.A. sheriffs soon, but we're going to go over this first. Oh, man, it's just...
Well, there's so many levels here. Like, how this is not on the same, I won't say the exact same scale, but the same wavelength as the Oklahoma City bombing. This is somebody who's been indoctrinated, who has weapons illegally in their possession, and crosses state lines and goes looking for trouble. This is terrorism. This is domestic terrorism. This is the definition of it. But you're never going to see it called that anywhere in the U.S. media. They don't have the balls.
Yep.
That's what blows me away. It's just, wow.
Yeah, I mean, and then these people are hailing him as a hero now. The president of the United States won't condemn this terrorist. I mean, these cats, one of his defenses, he was part of a militia, a well-regulated militia, quote unquote, is what they were saying.
So being not old enough to vote and having an assault rifle illegally, that's allowed in your well-regulated militia, is it?
Man, he was standing his ground. He crossed state lines to stand his ground. Yeah, it's that little bastard should, I don't know, man.
Well, the thing is, there are American lawyers that, I see on social media. I respect their viewpoints. I respect their opinion. And, I haven't seen one of them say that this should be anything but jury's in the room for 10 minutes to check their phones and then they come back out and it's guilty. I mean, this just looks so completely obvious that this is murder one. So if that doesn't happen, that could be a huge issue. That could be a real fucking trigger just waiting. That's a landmine. What if? Nobody ever thought OJ would walk.
But he was innocent. In all fairness, he was innocent.
But nobody thought Zimmerman would walk either. So
he was guilty.
I mean, this is just insane. The whole goddamn thing is insane. This whole situation should not happen.
Well, I think right now what you have is this guy, they're hailing him as a hero, this little thug terrorist, and that's going to encourage other people. He's got GoFundMe's for him and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. I don't know if it's quote unquote GoFundMe, but he's got funding coming. People want to help him out. The same people that be like, oh my God, they want to get protesters out of jail who burned or looted something. Some famous person is putting money up for bail. Now they're like, oh, this guy murdered 2 people. Let's put money up and help him. It's so hypocritical, man. It's so hypocritical. And they calling him Carl Tuckerson called him a hero. He said he had to go do what the growing ups wouldn't do and clean his town up or whatever. It's stupid, man. So yeah, the white supremacist, the guy that goes and murders people who are protesting injustice for people of a different race, are suffering under that. People of a different race are suffering under this government, or under this every government this country's ever had. That's okay. They're a hero. That's what they're supposed to do. Because if somebody burns a police station, they should be murdered. Anyone around them should be murdered. We should drive cars through them. We should do everything we hated ISIS for is what we should be doing to these people. That's what they're saying. Hypocrites.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of comparisons the last couple days about these.
With the trucks and the flags and the guns.
Yeah,
dead on. Yeah, man.
It is ISIS.
It's white sis. No, what did they call it? They called it Al Qaeda or something. Al Qaeda.
And the thing is, it's not like everybody is on the fascist bandwagon in positions that count. It's just that it seems to be the only narrative that keeps being heard is the one that does nothing to calm. It only helps sell. I won't say inflame or turn up the volume or anything, because I don't think that's the real motivation here. The motivation is to sell it. And that's what they're doing. But I mean, you look at the mayor of Kenosha. I don't think there's any misrepresenting what was said. Do not come here. Fuck off. You are the problem.
He is. He's emboldening these people. I'm sorry, go ahead.
The state legislators for Kenosha and that region. Do not come here. You're the problem. The governor. Do not come here. You're the problem. And of course, he fucking shows up and sprouts a lot of lies and pretends that, everybody else is fucked except him. And then he, has another semi-coherent babble session. Like, my God, how is this even going on? And it doesn't matter. There's absolutely what I can see, no division of powers. There's no respect for different levels of government at all from the White House. And I've never seen that before. Even Kennedy let Birmingham do shit that he wasn't down with. That's about as extreme as I can think about it. But now it's almost 180 degrees from that. Places like Kenosha saying, stay the fuck out of here. We don't need you. And
when have you ever, I don't know, in my life I cannot remember a time when cities were telling a president not to come in a tragic time.
It's happened.
With who?
With the Kennedy
Bush?
Administration and the Johnson administration with some of the cities in the South.
Okay, yeah. That was before my lifetime. But yeah, that's true.
In the 60s, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
and the White House respected it. The White House respected it.
Yeah.
The only thing they didn't was on desegregation of post-secondary in Mississippi. That was done by the feds.
Yeah, he eggs it on, man. He eggs it on. These people feel so emboldened. And for anybody who's new, we sometimes talk over each other, not because we're rude, but because there's latency issues and there's a mild delay. So it sounds like, they stop talking and then they're still talking. So my apologies. That's just the way Spreaker works. Yeah. So now let's move on a little bit more. We had this terrorist attack. 2 people died. Other people were injured. I think at least one other person was injured. The next day, the guy turned himself in or whatever without incident. And now, as what I heard, I think he's free until a court case or something. So he's a hero, according to all these people. He's the kid that did what all the adults wouldn't and couldn't do, refused to do, was go, quote unquote, clean up the community from all these non-white people and their supporters. Then the next day, a bunch of fascists showed up to Portland. The same fascists, or at least a lot of them were the same fascists who commonly go and attack the people in Portland with weapons, pull guns on people in Portland, and the police do nothing. Well, no, the police don't do nothing, Glenn. You know what the police do? They help out the fascists.
Yeah.
They'll send people in the direction of the fascists and all kinds of other stuff. They'll work with them. There's been emails to prove this. Leaked emails. So in Portland, these fascists come and one of them gets popped. Now you got a dead fascist. Well, I mean, I look at that as self-defense. These people just shot somebody up. Not the exact same people, but they're known to cause violence, especially in Portland. They attack people almost daily over there. So now you got these fascists coming. Somebody shoots him. They think they've identified the guy, who's obviously an anti-fascist. He shot a fascist, right? So now they're like Antifa, 100% Antifa, because he had a tattoo or something. I don't know, whatever. Or he said that, and they identified him with a tattoo. Supposedly it's this guy. I don't think the police have picked him up or said it's this guy yet. But all the fascists, on their computers want to identify people. So yeah, now this guy is considered a terrible person. Horrible. They're like Trump supporters can't even walk down the street without getting murdered. Like, this is just a regular occurrence. You know what I mean? Maybe if these quote-unquote Trump they are Trump supporters, but they're also fascist Nazi scumbuckets. If they showed up, if they didn't show up attacking people with guns every night and murdering people and running cars through people, and this isn't the first shooting that happened. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of shootings going on, a lot of attacks all over the country on protesters. So yeah, it was just a matter of time before somebody got nervous. These cats attack all the time. Let me just end the problem and take a shot. Makes sense to me. Get them before they get everybody else.
But that's
this dude wasn't coming over singing church hymns, the dude he shot. I guarantee you he wasn't like, oh, let me come in peace, my brother, and tell you why you're wrong and you should come to our fascist side. He wasn't doing that, man. He was ready to get down. He was ready to hurt whoever he could. I guarantee you that's what they go there for.
Well, there's so little actual information on that incident that it could have been what you would call friendly fire. We don't know.
No, we don't know. I'm just telling you what I've been seeing online so far.
Yeah, but it could be
even if it wasn't, these people are, even if it was, whoever they say it was, the whole story is the same way it went down. So what? If he didn't go down there looking for trouble, he wouldn't have went down there and found some trouble. That's just the reality of it. He went down there looking for trouble, and somebody gave him more trouble than I guess he wanted. Oh well.
Well, this is the way I look at it. If Heather Heyer in Charlottesville is a 10, then this killing is about a 1.5.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
It's
those
just-
were innocent people that were run over by a weapon that weighed 4,000 pounds.
Again,
This is
thanks to Tucker Carlson egging him on to do so beforehand.
And this is in a repeated street combat neighborhood. You know, I mean, this is kind of like what people would have considered the center parts of Londonderry or Belfast in Northern Ireland at one time. You know, it just went on day after day. So, I mean, it's a completely different metric. Everything's different about it. But yeah, you're right. The right wing wants to claim it like this is their Heather Heyer.
They always play the victim, man. They attack,
Yeah.
attack, and then when something happens and somebody finally fight back, they're like, oh, how? It's because we love Donald Trump. It's because we're conservative. It's because our religion. It's because we're so. No, it's because you're a fascist and you try to attack people. Like that old lady in the wheelchair had a knife trying to stab people and they knocked her down and it comes out. They pushed a lady out of a wheelchair, an elderly lady. How could they? They maced her and pushed her. She had a knife. She stabbed one person who was trying to stab more. What are you supposed to do?
Yep.
What are you supposed to do? What would you do if you in a group of people, whatever you're doing, some crazy woman comes in a wheelchair, a crazy racist woman comes in a wheelchair and starts swinging a knife around stabbing people? I would have done worse than that to her.
Well, yeah, that's about the best thing you could do. It's like, okay, you're immobile. That's it.
Yeah, she got tipped over and maced. So what? She'll survive. I guarantee you the person she cut had a lot more damage than she did.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, for real, you going looking for trouble, sometimes you're going to find trouble, even if you're the one with the weapons and all the fascist army coming in with armor or whatever. Sometimes you're going to get gone too. Sometimes what you're thinking of doing to other people, they're going to get you first. And they're going to fight back. It's called self-defense. Even preemptive, it's self-defense.
Yeah.
Bunch of Nazis with swastikas start marching down the street. What do you think's going to happen? I mean, all the Trump supporters would jump out there and have a rally, but I'm saying as far as like, yeah, we go try to get them off the street by any means necessary. Doesn't matter what happens. There's not going to be Nazis marching down the street I'm on. It just, no, it's not going to happen. So, yeah.
And again, I mean, if we're talking about Portland now, I mean, it's the same damn thing again. I mean, this Ted Wheeler against Donald Trump is fucking surreal. You know, like,
Yeah.
I should be laughing my head off at this, but it's like, it's like, no, this is what's really going on, man. This
It's
isn't
not a
Saturday
sketch
Night
comedy
Live.
show.
Yeah, it's not SNL, man. This is reality. And that's the other thing too. Never in my lifetime did I ever see the mayor of a U.S. city speak about the president of the United States like that. But he's right. That's the other side of that coin. Never thought I'd hear that. Never thought you'd have to hear it. And then for Trump to reply like he's talking to Rosie O'Donnell again, what a fucking idiot. Jesus Christ. But I mean, at this point, it's obvious that the more he talks, the worse it gets. So, hey,
Yeah, but he's got that base. No matter what he says, they're going to just love him, adore him, and worship him no matter what.
Well, yeah, but it's not as easy as it usually is for that base, though, because there is COVID, and there are going to be more that are just going to stay home because they ain't voting for Biden, but they're really, really disappointed in the orange turd. So, you know, from that...
Trump's going to stop COVID by going to China and building a Great Wall.
Yeah, I saw some American account tweet that yesterday. No, I don't remember who. But to paraphrase it, it said, so let me get this straight. If you re-elect him, he will fix the economy, he'll stop COVID, he'll do all this stuff. Well, isn't he president now? Why do we have to elect him to do this?
No, evidently right now we're in Joe Biden's America. Haven't you seen the Trump commercials? None of this is happening in Trump's America. This is Joe Biden's America.
Well,
at least according to Trump. At least according to Trump's commercials, that's what we're in right now.
Gee, I'd like to know how that happened.
And this isn't a endorsement for Biden in any way, shape, or form. But what really worries me is that this won't be Biden's America, because all the atrocities Trump's doing now, that Biden will continue doing, all the terrible things that him and Kamala Harris will do to people if elected, brutalizing protesters, more things like Standing Rock, just, you know, continuing the detention centers with families and kids in it. Maybe not escalating, but continuing everything the same and ramping it up a little. And all the people on the street will drop by at least 50% because it's their guy doing it and it's all good. It's going to be really screwed up. So I don't know. I mean, Biden's America is going to be a lot less people out there fighting fascism because the fascist is their guy, just like the Trump supporters now. The fascist is their guy, so it's okay. He's in charge. If it's the other guy, that's when they hit the streets.
Yeah, but that can't go on forever either. You know, it depends how bad it gets before it gets any better. Because, you know, that'll change the length of memory of this period of time for a lot of people. I mean, you know, we on this show, we talk about how the majority has a 15 or 30 second memory span. But I mean, you know, I would tend to sarcastically agree with that. But it's proven fact that things that hurt, you remember longer than a lot of other things. So, you know, I think this new generation of voters in the U.S., they're not getting a lot of attention or ink or anything else. But they're going to be different, just like this new generation of voters in Canada. That's how we got Trudeau, because of new voters. And they were engaged and they actually voted. And for the most part, they've been kept happy so far. You know, so I mean, we're ahead of you guys for a change. There's been a difference in the appeal for federal power, and as long as you've got Trump and Biden, you guys are still in the boomer era.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter what you believe in or whatever. The two guys that have the only chance are over 70. It's 2020. Get fucking real.
Yeah, man. It's you know what it is? It's been heading this way for as long as I can remember. We say this, we've said this before many times in this show. The Republicans come in and just do some really terrible, you know, full speed ahead, fast and furious fascist stuff. Then the Democrats come in, keep that going, and then do like a slow and steady fascist, you know, and it just keeps heading toward this until now we got this wannabe dictator, little jerk in office. He's just blatant about it. The other guys aren't blatant about it. We've went into this many times. Like Obama he's intelligent and has charisma, so people be like, oh, he's my favorite president. I like him even though he's a fascist, even though he did all this terrible stuff, even though he didn't keep any of his promises. I think he's awesome. Even though he screwed us on health care and bailed out banks, I think he's awesome. And the only people who seem to critique Obama that anyone listens to are the racists. Like, basically, he's a black dude and we're not sure he was born in the U.S. You know what I mean? That's their whole critique. Or he wore some different color. It's just stupid. It's ignorant, stupid, and it's conspiracy theory based and racist. Why not say, I hate Obama because he's a fascist, and I'll tell you how he's a fascist. I go through every policy he had. And yeah, Trump's a fascist too. And he's ramped it up even more than Obama did. And Bush was a fascist, and Clinton was a fascist, and Reagan was a fascist. You know what I mean? People don't get that. We have to realize that if Biden wins, people need to be out on the streets day one. No, just like they did Trump, tearing stuff up. No. We do not want Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. We've had these people before. We know what they're capable of. We know the horrors they create and the terrible things they do. Biden's already on the campaign trail lying. Trump's a liar. You're a liar too. You're both liars. Why would anyone vote for one of you compulsive liars? It's ridiculous. Biden's talking about peace, and peace is the only way. It's the only answer. Violence never can solve anything. Name a war he didn't vote for?
Oh, no, he's talking about at home. Because, happy people are fucking dozy people. So we can get away with all the shit we want.
It's disgusting, man. These people are stupid for voting for these people. They know they're being lied to. They know these people hate them. All they want is their stupid vote. And they just sell their souls for these fascists because it's their guy, it's their party. Screw your party and screw your guy.
It's, again, man, it's like pro wrestling.
It really is. It really is. I'm really kind of hoping I can get through today's show without having the mute button pressed down while I'm talking. I almost did it twice already, but I caught myself. So
right on.
We're going for excellence today.
All right. Fucking right. Here we are. Well, that's a good time. We should announce our sponsors.
Oh, there we go. Go ahead, Glenn.
Today's show is brought to you by The Last of My Organic Death Bubba.
Nice.
It's okay.
Are you planning your next strain? Or are you just going to kind of wait until that's almost all the way gone and then move on?
Well, yeah, we'll be starting on a new strain probably tomorrow.
Nice.
So, yeah. Well, yeah, we're all ready to go.
Yeah, my part of this show is sponsored by Skywalker OG. It's pretty awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's excellent. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's these fascists are terrible. We got fascists on both parties of our government here. We have fascists in the street. We have fascist police protecting fascists in the street. And the only two choices the people have to vote for is a fascist or a fascist. I'd say fascism has grabbed hold of this country pretty well. I mean, draped in patriotism and bearing the cross. That seems to be what's happening.
Well, I mean, looking at history, there have been lots of attempts at installing a fascist regime, but far fewer actually make it happen. Still more than you'd like, but not as many as who try. But the thing is, there comes a point in the progression where it's not so much about the messaging from the fascist power. It's the societal attitude that just bends right towards it, accepts it, goes along with it. That's when you got big problems.
I mean, they're literally telling you anarchy and anti-fascism is bad. So wanting people to run their own lives and not having to bow down to an authoritarian ruler or government or whatever, and not being in line with fascists and racists and horrible people, that's the negative right now. We don't want people like that. Those could be terrorists. But walking around with guns, shooting people in the streets, running them down with cars, threatening people's lives, that's all hero stuff. That's what heroes are made of. Man, how do you think history's going to look at this? These people need to really think, because everything is being recorded now. Everything is on video. Everything's on pictures and memes. It's not like in the old days where they had 2 pictures from a lynching picnic, you know, and everyone's together and the guy on the side, nobody knows he was there because he didn't get in the picture. He was barbecuing or something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You see everything now. People are going to know. Your grandchildren are going to know what you were doing. Your grandchildren are going to see you siding with Klan and Nazis. Your grandchildren are going to see you choosing to vote for one or the other fascist and arguing about my fascist is better than your fascist. Y'all are disgusting. History's going to frown upon all of y'all.
Well, I mean, again, this is part of the shift in the societal attitudes. You know, I mean, people just have too much of a short-term worldview. Now, does a lot of that have to do with their current conditions and the way they realistically see any chance of moving up and finding this endangered species called the American dream? Well, yeah, you know, of course. But, you know, it's funny to look at stuff in Canada and stuff that comes out of Europe and the people there reacting to the Democratic Party being called the extreme left.
Yeah, I know, man. That's crazy.
Like, I have to laugh every time I see that. It's like, oh my God, that is so ridiculous.
Dude, I'm telling you, the guy they're claiming shot the Nazi. He they're because he said he's 100% anti-fascist. In some interview they did with this alleged guy that did this supposedly.
Oh yeah.
And so they're like, see, he's a Democrat. Let me tell you how this works. There's a lot of people out in these streets from a lot of different groups, and a lot of people that are just from decentralized groups as well. You know, they all just believe in the same thing and go out there to support whatever groups are out there believing in what they're believing in, and that's probably a majority of the people aren't with a lot of groups. But you can tell when there's Democrats out there because they have the big sign that say vote. Their chance or vote. I was going down the street the other day. I seen a sign that said Black Lives Matter. I was going to honk my horn and say something. I seen all these signs that said vote, vote, Biden, 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 Biden. I was like, no, sorry. I'm just going to keep on moving. Why you got to put Black Lives Matter message with a fascist message? That doesn't make sense to me. You shouldn't mix those two. It could have been there with abolish the police. It could have been there with don't vote, revolt, destroy the system, fight the power, all power to the people. Love, unity, whatever, but vote for a fascist. Vote, vote, vote. Nah, screw y'all. You got it twisted.
How much of it? I mean, you know, this is, I think the government and the political parties got a lot of good practice on this sort of strategy going back to Occupy. And I mean, these people who were holding up BLM, were they actually just with the Biden horse shit, or was it a combination?
It was
deal?
like 9 people on the corner with signs cheering while I was driving by. Like, I don't know the people. I don't know anything about them. It wasn't even a lot of them. It was just I seen the BLM one first, and I was about to honk, and I seen the other ones. I read the next one, and I was like, oh wow, that's just dumb. You're losing support right here.
So
It's
it's
because
likely
I'm an
an
anarchist. I can't. I mean, it's because I'm an anti-fascist. I can't vote for a fascist. I don't care if it's a smiling fascist or a frowning fascist. To me, it's just another fascist.
Well, I mean, that's a staple of American street level politicking as well. If there's something that everybody knows and identifies with, even if it's a neighborhood or county to county issue, just steal that slogan for the day and put it beside your vote, Mr. X. You know, that's just
Yeah,
part of the game now. That's part of the game.
yeah, because a lot of people driving by will connect the two. Oh, Biden,
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives
Mm-hmm.
Matter. Oh, he's one of us. Because a lot of
Exactly.
people are uninformed and they need to be informed. Get informed, people. There's no excuse. You have the internet at your fingertips somewhere, and it's not hard if you don't. You can go to a library. You can borrow somebody something. I mean, you can get a government phone. You can get on the internet. So yeah,
Yep.
there's no excuse for ignorance anymore. Not at all.
Well, you know,
No, no. What do you mean? No
no,
excuse for
what
ignorance.
no. This is another part of the way things are done now. There's millions, probably tens of millions of Americans who insist that you could not call them uninformed because they'll tell you they watch cable news all day long. How can I be uninformed? You know, this is the big scam. And this is another giveaway of a fascist setup. The media just decides, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Even independent, quote unquote, media, like the big ones on YouTube that are supposed to be what do they call themselves progressive because liberal got a bad rap, which it should have. Now progressive is going to have that same bad rap because people know it's just a word that liberals use to pretend like they're not liberals or something different than what they are.
Well, the word progressive carries the same weight with me as the word reform. They're both bullshit. You know? They don't
Yeah.
mean anything.
Yeah, I don't want to be progressive. I want to get this over with. I want to be done with it. Full force ahead. Mission accomplished. So I guess that would make me a accomplishist.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a stupid word they use, and they make it seem like it's nothing, but they're just Democrats basically.
But I mean, if there's one angle that I would add, you look at Portland and how it's still ongoing, and there's still more factions getting involved. There's still more threats from the executive branch to have more federal law enforcement there, whether they're wanted or not, which, you know, that's fascist, flat out. That
Oh
is
yeah,
fascist. It's not even going through the governor and getting them to release a unit of the National Guard and they're put under executive direction from Washington. They're not even bothering with that. They're just getting on planes and they're flying to Portland. And they work for whatever alphabet agency. Who the fuck do they answer to? I mean, we've seen the courts throw out 2 of the top people in that system. They're not allowed to have their jobs. You know, this is just insane. This is blatant fascism.
well, okay,
Shit
but
like this going on.
in all fairness, it has been reported by one person, the President of the United States, that there was some unnamed person that we all know who got on an airplane with a whole bunch of anti-fascists with weaponry and black bloc gear on their way. I'm not sure where. I think he said different destinations each time he mentioned it, but
Whatever.
I'm almost 100% sure that's the Soros flight. I was supposed to be on that, and Soros didn't send a check in time, so I didn't go. And I'm glad, because now they're all being investigated, because it's totally real.
Okay.
You didn't hear him say that? A bunch of anti-fascists were traveling across the country on a plane to do some harm to some people. Oh, you know where they were going? The first time they were going, I think, to D.C., to the White House or something. The second time they're going to the Republican National Convention to wreak havoc. And he couldn't tell you who was on the plane with him that saw it all, because he didn't ask him if it was okay to say his name yet. But it's somebody we all know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Somebody we all know. It was Elvis.
Yeah. It was QAnon.
Well, that could be Elvis.
Yeah, I've heard that theory before. Elvis is QAnon.
Oh my God! But I mean, have you seen the little skit about soup? Have you seen that one?
Wait, no. What? No. Soup? Like the soup you drink, eat?
Yep.
What? I never had seen this. What is this?
Well, his theory was I guess he was shitting on the food supply groups that are working with the regular protests to keep people fed. There's a place to come get something to eat.
Yeah.
Apparently, Trump said that there are people that have what he's called, I think, like pillowcases full of food, and they take them out into the crowd and they dump them out, and it's basically all it is cans of soup. And then the people, the protesters, the extreme left, then throw the cans of soup at the police and at the federal buildings.
Oh, no. It's not right. It's Biden and Harris that bring the soup.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they bring the soup and they drop it on these big crates. And then they tell us, make sure you throw it at all the cops. Because Kamala Harris, if she hates anything in the world, is cops. She's self-loathing. Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was talking about people bringing bags of soup to the front line.
What was the other thing he said? He said something like, protesters, your ass. And then but we're not going to talk about my ass because I don't do that.
Oh, my God.
Like, what does that even mean? That fool is an idiot. Oh.
People talk about all the different concoctions, all the different drugs that Hitler would take. Well, I mean, this someday maybe we'll find out, but this has got to be up there. That's why I mentioned Elvis, too. You want to talk about veteran pharmaceutical masters? Elvis is definitely in the club. Here's another one.
Yeah. That's one of their heroes. He's a racist.
I think Elvis made his own decisions. I don't think this clown makes any real decisions.
Yeah. When is his wife going to learn English? Because I don't know what the hell she's saying.
She doesn't have to. Oh, you mean Bologna?
Yeah. Because I swear, if some Latina woman had an accent 2 times better than hers, they'd be like, I don't understand what you're saying. Go back to your country. We don't speak Mexican here. We speak American. But yeah, she can't even speak, and she's like, oh, we love her. She's the greatest. She's a genius. Einstein level visa genius.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're just stupid. And she's so hot, looking like Michael Jackson with all that surgery. That's what they say. Man, these MAGAs don't care. They have no ethics or morals or even. They have nothing, dude. They're just idiots with big trucks and flags, trying to be like the new ISIS of the United. Trying to be like what they hate,
but only better.
America.
Exactly.
What makes you any better? What makes you better than any of the other terrorist groups in the world? America.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man, it's just so ridiculous.
That's true.
If they weren't murdering people, they'd be like a joke just to be laughed off. And they've always been violent. See, these people like, oh, once Biden gets in, they'll mellow out because, well, when Obama was in and when Bush was in, they were showing up at Home Depots with baseball bats and guns and weapons and assaulting immigrants who were trying to get work in the parking lot over there. This is long before Trump. They were showing up in L.A., not in L.A., but like outskirts of L.A. for their little Nazi rallies and stuff. The KKK's been active in different areas. There's white supremacists all over. They're just out in the open more now.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. And whether they go back into the woodworks or they stay out in the open, they still all around and they're still looking to do harm to people. You just might not hear about it as much. Nobody heard about my homie the Nazis murdered. Wasn't all over everything. Nobody cared. It wasn't even internet back then.
Yeah.
It was just a blip on the news. They've been doing this a long time. If you don't believe me, type up public lynchings on Google and look at those pictures and look at the dates. It's been going on forever. If you don't believe me on that, look up slavery. Look up the genocide, the Trail of Tears. Look at every terrible thing that's happened here. Why can't we just stop doing terrible things? It's not really that hard. People are people. Respect all people. Everyone has equal rights. I mean, what's wrong with that? And don't criminalize everything and screw your capitalism. We could have a nice society. It's just these people want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Let's vote for one of these two parties. Screw it, man. I can't emphasize this enough, Glenn. I know it sounds like a rant, but it's not. It's just sheer anger and hatred toward these people that keep doing this.
Well, I mean, I think the powers that be, the system that exists, is well aware that the way modern society, quote unquote, operates now is it takes a long time to move the needle. And when the needle starts moving, if you counteract it, you can stop it. And I'd say to people, how can you claim this? And it's, well, it's already happened in my lifetime. I was born in the 60s. All those teenagers at Woodstock and Monterey and marching against the Vietnam War. In the 80s, they were the people clamoring for 401ks to get into the stock market. That's what they became. So, I mean, they started to move the needle, but they got coerced back into capital. And that's where they've stayed ever since. You know, and the millennials are coming. In your country, in my country, they're going to be the biggest block of vote-eligible people as a generation since the boomers. So they can force things. Can they change the system? No, you can't change the system until you take it apart. But they can force the system to do things, you know, that are going to have a real effect. But
yeah, if they don't turn sellout.
Yeah, that's just it. It's going to take a lot of commitment. And I don't know if there are enough people that could get through all the fucking hoops that are still going to exist in this road, you know, to get in a position to enact something worth a fuck, to put the brakes on or do something But, that's just it. How many people still think that this is now a runaway train? Right? I mean, it's hard to keep people interested when there is no good news. That's just human nature.
I'm wondering why this idiot Trump doesn't just give everybody $10,000 or $20,000 before the election. Like, that would seal it for him, really, the way people are hurting. And people are stupid, and when you give them something, they tend to be like, ooh, wow, maybe we'll get more. I don't know. It just seems like if I was doing it, I would. I mean, look at it like this. They had the RNC and the DNC. How much money those things cost? Hundreds of millions of dollars. People can't afford food. People are getting evicted. People are having all kinds of problems. No jobs, no money. Everything's cut off. And they're going to have these big events. It's just stupid, dude. They don't care about us. And these people just cheer them on. They had 20 or 20-something million people watching these things. What if everyone just tuned it out? Like, we're not watching that. Why are you spending all this money? You should be giving us that money. That's our money.
But see, this is a one-off year as well, because professional sports have not really happened this year. There are millions of people that have to watch something and get emotionally invested in it. And there's been no sports this year. So the conventions are kind of like sporting events to a lot of people who don't regularly watch them.
Yeah, when sports come back, if Biden wins, it's over for the movement out in these streets for a while. These people won't care. They'll let it keep progressing until a Republican comes in. And if he acts fascist enough, blatantly fascist enough, then they'll get upset. And I'm wondering, I don't know. I'm just kind of wondering if there's going to be people, 4 or 8 years from now, depending on what happens, 6 years, whatever. They're going to be like, Michelle Obama hugging Trump like she does Bush or something. He's just a cool, or just some random, whoever the president's wife is chilling with Trump or whatever, getting advice from him. Is he going to be hailed as this great guy in the future? Because that's what they seem to do with everybody.
Well, I think without Trump, W would have never got that. Trump is so bad that they could pull it off with Bush too. People would say, yeah, fuck, I guess, compared to this fucking idiot. It's the bubble. It's the Beltway. There's no opportunity missed. Here's our chance.
Yeah.
Let's fucking baptize him. Let's cleanse his memory. That's what they're trying to do. They can't change history books. It's just that nobody's going to talk about it. And they just want to change the last thought that you had of him. And now if it's positive, they did their job.
Yeah, I guess. So, I guess we got to move on to the pigs that murdered somebody yesterday.
Yeah.
In LA. It was a sheriff department. Olive's going crazy. That means the mail's probably coming. So yesterday the sheriff department murdered somebody else. Supposedly the story that the sheriffs told, this is what the sheriff said. This isn't even what the people said, so this is pretty crazy. So this guy was riding his bike, and they're pulling him over for a violation with the bike. So maybe he didn't have a lighter. I don't know. It was in the daytime, so I don't even know what violation it was. Something with the bike, or maybe he was going the wrong way or whatever. Something stupid that he probably shouldn't have been pulled over for. Let's just put it like that. Something really petty. And he has clothes in his hand, and then there's a gun with the clothes. He throws the gun to the ground, and they murder him. That's the story the sheriff came with. He threw the gun to the ground with the clothes, so they decided to murder him because he didn't have a gun anymore. It wasn't a threat. Let's kill him. They didn't say that part, I did, but that's basically what they said.
Well, that's the end result.
Yeah. But he put the gun down.
Yep.
If he even had one. I'm going by their story. We don't even know that. He threw clothes on the ground with something they believed to be a gun, so they murdered him. It's out of his hand. I don't get it. Oh, and then yesterday all these people went out there to protest this, so they put up a big line of riot sheriffs and attacked the people, of course. That's what happens.
Yeah, I watched a couple of the streams from there for a while, and the cops just kept bringing more cops, you know? And it's like, well, yeah, that's the way to de-escalate, you stupid fucks. You know, bring more cops out on the street. So more people are going to be, what the fuck are all these cops doing in our neighborhood?
Yeah, that's they want to attack people. They want violence. That's their whole game. They're not there to de-escalate ever. The way they act, that's not de-escalation. Never is it de-escalation with them. Never.
LA Sheriff, is that their jurisdiction too? Their home jurisdiction? Or what? Where were those fuckers from?
Their jurisdiction's all over. They can go wherever they want pretty much. I see them rolling through here and there's supposed to be police here, but they I don't know. Sheriffs are the most corrupt cops that we have, so I'm pretty sure they do as they want. They're gangbangers, literally. They have gangs. They're in them.
Well, is anything going to happen, you think?
They didn't have body cams. So there's no footage from the police side. I haven't seen there's supposedly footage of it, but I haven't seen it. So that could just be a rumor. Or I could just have not seen it.
I did see some phone video that basically showed the victim on the far side of that vehicle that he ended up under, dead. And you couldn't really see him, but you can see the two cops pull the triggers. You can see the magazines or the slider moving.
I've seen stills of the cops, so I'm assuming they came out of a video.
Yeah.
But yeah, of the murderers. Yeah, it's just exhausting, man. They're such cowards. They just murder. Or maybe they're just psychopaths that want to murder people. Something's going on here. Something's going on here. You pulling somebody over for something on his bike. We live in the United States. Everyone has guns. So it really shouldn't matter if he has a gun or not. You could take the gun from him. You can ask him about it. It's on the ground. Why murder him?
Well, I think it was only a generation ago where it almost became cliche, where people would say the first thing a cop does is ask if you have any weapons on you. Does that even happen anymore? Or have they already...
Do you have any drugs or weapons on you? Or do you have anything I need to know about on you tonight? That's just, no.
But they still do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do it all the time.
Well, I thought that they didn't even bother with that if they felt like it. They just pull out their weapon and tell you to freeze.
Oh, they'll come out with their weapon. They'll ask you that, or they'll just get out the car or whatever. Their main goal is to search your car, to find something or maybe plant something, to get their arrest quota. Or write you a ticket if they can't find something and they're working on their ticket quota. The thing isn't to keep you safe. It's not to stop crime. It's to get quotas on stupid things that don't matter because they have quotas. So they need as many crimes to happen, made up or not, so they can get those quotas. That's how it works here. So you got everything criminalized and people getting tickets and fines and being arrested for the dumbest things to create revenue for the city and get these pigs their quotas so they can, whatever, incentives. I'm sorry, it's an incentive program. They don't call it quotas because that would just be wrong, right? Stupid pigs. So yeah, they murdered this dude and probably gonna get away with it. And then here's the thing: every time this happens, the same thing happens. The people go out, the police line up, becomes a thing. People get arrested, people fight, and then it's just the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. The police attack everybody. Sometimes they'll start. I've never seen a riot the police didn't start. Never once in my life. From the first riot to the last riot, never seen when the police didn't start.
Well, the thing that's changed to me about policing in American cities over the last, 30, 40 years is, I was really, really small, and I've seen enough of the video of the stuff back to Detroit, back to Watts, Baltimore. And it wasn't the same in any one of those places. And then there were other cities that at that time were taking measures, like Philly had fucking army on the streets. But then there'd be other cities where it's basically no change. But what I've seen since Occupy, actually, this happened right after Occupy, there seemed to be some national coordination of a minimum level of responding to however they classify their quote-unquote threats. So, you look at Kenosha, Portland, and now this thing last night in L.A., isn't it interesting how you'd think it was something happening in Kenosha for the cops to come out that hard because it's still fresh there? But this is LA. It's not there, but you get the same reaction in LA. That's the thing that I find really scary.
LA's brutal, man.
So would they just be that strong for the hell of it? It has nothing to do with the other stuff?
It might. They always do that. They had that one anti-gun protest with like 50,000 people. They had sheriff riot squads with all the ropes and all their trucks and lined up with the guns. The difference was then the people were there, anti-gun people. They wanted everyone to get rid of the guns, so they went over and hugged and thanked the sheriffs for their service with their guns, which was totally hypocritical in my mind. Like, if you don't want guns, don't go hug them fools with the guns. Doesn't make any sense. Like, we're so anti-gun, let's go hug the guys with the guns. Yeah, idiots. You should never hug pigs. That's how you get swine flu. Just remember that. Man, yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's sickening, man. We're just getting over the cops murdering the same sheriff's department murdering somebody else.
Is this stuff ongoing and starting to become a nightly pattern on cable news or whatever? Is this taking away coverage from the pandemic?
Of course. The pandemic is a quote-unquote hoax, right? Or they're going to let the herd immunity thing take care of it, or whatever they're talking about. They don't care. These people, the people in power don't care. They're not funding people here. People don't have anything. They gave us $1,200 and said, screw you. Not even, they gave some of us $1,200 and said, screw you. They're on break. They went on break.
Yeah.
Nobody has money. They went on break. They're not, yeah. Didn't you send me something earlier that schools in, I believe it was Texas, am I right?
No, that was Miami.
Florida. Okay, yeah. Sorry. I knew it was one of those weirdo states. Yeah, schools in Florida are not going to report how many people have contracted the virus within the school. How sick is that?
Yeah, I got it here. There's a tweet by Philly Girl! Exclamation point. Florida governor doesn't want the positive tests for virus at schools to be published, but there is data. Miami Herald has a copy of the data. 342 teachers tested positive over 2 weeks. That's just in Miami County, or Miami, Homestead County, I guess.
Yeah. It's that's what I'm saying. It's like these people, now they have this new thing saying there's only really 9,000 deaths by COVID.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Then they tell you the flu is worse and this is that. It's not.
No.
Even if you, we've went through this, even if we've done the numbers, even if you go up with the flu to double, you know what I mean? Within that whole year, this took out way more people in 5 months than that did.
Yeah.
And we're still going up with this. And flu season's coming, so we're going to have both to deal with. So, yeah, it should be It should be major news right now. People should be really worried about it. And you got people arguing about masks. I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to wear a mask. Think about this. What if everyone wears a mask through the winter and less people get the flu and colds because of it? Wouldn't that be a nice extra plus?
Well, I mean, the best counterpoint to that in Canada has already been established, and that's for, probably a third of our population will wear a scarf over our face, or wear a balaclava, or have a hood pulled super tight like Kenny on South Park because of the cold weather. And nobody can't breathe. Nobody has any side effects. Nobody has a doctor's note that they can't wear a fucking scarf. So that's the comparison here. It's just bullshit. You just don't want to. Just tell the truth. Not you don't have to wear a mask. You don't want to. Just tell the truth.
My liberty.
Well, that's fine. Be forward with your choice that you're making, which you have the right to do. If you don't want to wear a mask, then go isolate yourself. Because you can't do shit about private businesses. You can't do shit about public transportation. So go sit in your house and drive around in your car by yourself. Because, if shit doesn't straighten out, that's where we're going. Masks everywhere. I mean, where I'm working now, it's mask all day. Except at break time. And that is socially distanced. So
yeah, I see this devout Muslim tweaker. It's just funny. He claims he's Muslim and walks around all devout, but he's like super tweaked out. But anyway, so he goes in the store and they're like, you can't go in there on a mask. He does this like all the time. This is a thing. So he starts screaming, I have autism. I don't need a mask. I can't do it. I have autism and I can prove it or whatever. They go, okay, prove it. I don't have the papers with me. You just don't let me wear a mask. I can't do it. So then he throws a fit and smashes stuff up every time whatever store won't let him in. So now he's been banned from all these stores because he won't wear a mask. And he's into all those crazy conspiracy things too, man. It's just it's just ridiculous. It's like, put on a stupid mask. And then, this dude goes out and he's just, And he's not. He doesn't have autism. This is the first time he doesn't have autism. He just brought it up because somebody told him that that's how you do it. But yeah, I guess your choice is this: to deal with those people and look at them like the fools they are and ignorant, and they're going to accept rumors and conspiracy theories over solid science and medical advice. That's on them. But we can still mock them. We can make fun of them. We can not let them in any place we're in because they're a danger to everybody.
Well,
I told one of the stores, if it's so fake, put up a community mask, and everybody who doesn't believe it can just wear the same mask, because what's that going to matter, right? So just hang it on the wall and be like, there's your community mask. Like, what's the problem? You don't. I find some dirty when it's been on the ground or some nasty, Be like, go ahead, put it on. It'll be okay. It's all fake news. I wonder how many of them would do that. About it. I heard on the radio earlier. This is funny. Someone was saying they were doing polls with Trump supporters, and they'd ask them questions about, like, was Obama born in the U.S.? And they'd be like, no. And they'll be like, was it, they just ask them a bunch of questions. Some questions would be whatever, but then they'd come back and they'd go through the questions again and be like, we're going to go through all the questions again. And if you tell the truth, you're going to get $20. If you don't tell the truth, you don't do it, right? You're not going to get the $20. And they trade that. Was Obama born in the U.S.? Yes. So they said they came to the conclusion they just parrot these things because it's just like slogans and phrases to them, but they don't believe it themselves. But it's like maybe others will believe it. It's like a religion or something, you just mimic what you hear and try to convert others with the lies. I don't know, but it seemed odd when they offered them money, their answers changed.
Wow.
And yes, that wasn't a defense of Obama, but obviously he was born in the U.S., so doesn't make him less of a fascist.
See, that's, in my opinion, as far as politics go, that's bordering on a cult when you get people who are going to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you said, they knowingly know better. They just don't care. Wow.
Wowzers.
Yeah, that's pretty strong. But, this is the thing. I mean, I don't know how many times I've said, at the end of the day, people get the government they deserve. So
I think the government I deserve is no government at all. I want someone to punish me with that.
Well, that's an individual goal, and we have a societal result. So I don't know how to...
just smack me with that reality there, huh, Glenn?
Well, I don't know how to connect those two for you, man.
See, I guess only capitalism could solve my problems, because then I could buy an island.
Yeah, I imagine islands are probably cheap right now.
Yeah.
But, you better make sure it's got a high enough elevation and enough area at a high enough elevation, because oceans are probably going to rise a little bit in the next while.
Well, you know what? I'm going to buy the island that they had Gilligan lost on, because I know you can survive there, and they probably got all the electricity pedaling bike and all that stuff still there. So I'm bidding on that one. That's my goal.
Okay. Then you find out it's a soundstage at Warner.
No, it's not. Stop lying. The professor's books are probably still there. Come on, man. It's the best island you could possibly buy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck with the bid. I guess that's on eBay or what?
It's just boxes with the set stuff. When I buy the island, it's gonna come in crates with all the set the set tore down and put up in these boxes.
Oh, great! Reassemble the props. Awesome.
Yep. That's how you do it. You can have Gilligan's Island anywhere. Okay, I don't know how we even got on this tangent, but did we go through everything pretty much? Like, we talked about the domestic terrorists that are state paid and not state paid. We talked about a lot of crazy stuff on these tangents. We talked about self-defense against fascists that are trying to harm people. What did we miss? Did we miss anything?
Not that I can remember. So that means yeah, but I can't remember.
And in no part during this show did I mute myself while I was talking. So we're growing. We're really growing as a show here.
Progress was made.
Yeah, it's progress. So,
I
guess.
I can't remember.
I don't think we had anything else. We're good. We've been talking a long time. I'd be tired of hearing my voice if I was somebody else right now.
There you go.
So, yeah, I guess hopefully we'll see everybody next week. I'm going to be at the protest tomorrow. If you were in the LA area, it's 211 West Temple Street. Anti-Jackie Lacey protest because Jackie Lacey is a terrible monster who needs to be removed from office ASAP. And that's about it. That's where I'll be tomorrow. Oh, I don't know, I put this on Twitter earlier. I'll probably have a 360 camera hopefully within the next 2 weeks. Like we said last week, mine got jacked out of my car. Totally my fault. Got to take things out of my car when I'm not in it. Stupid me. I should have known that. So yeah, probably have the 360 videos back. Somebody else had them on. I saw some 360 videos from this stuff. So somebody else is out there in LA with a 360 camera. So that's awesome. Yeah, more people will probably be doing that soon because I like it. It's like you can look around and see what's going on. Rather than and you know what, it screws me up. I think I said this last week. Now when I'm watching regular videos, like I'm watching a YouTube video of a protest, I'll start swiping the screen, moving my phone, trying to why can't I see what's going on right over here? Yeah, it's you get used to it really fast, and then you want everything to be 360. So I hope that's kind of like the future, and I hope they work on that technology. Yeah. Also, I'm probably I'm going to sell my drone to somebody. And I'm going to get a smaller drone that's not regulated. So it probably won't be as awesome cinematic quality, but it'll still be 4K, or maybe it's not 4K. I don't know. But it'll still be really good quality. And nobody can tell me I can't fly it anywhere. So I'm going to go with the Mavic Mini. And I'm going to be able to get a lot more drone shots, hopefully, with that. In areas that I wasn't allowed to take off or go higher than 15 feet before. So I'm looking forward to that in the next few weeks too. I'll keep everybody updated. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Glenn, for hosting. And that's it. We're out.